Mr. Gandhi and the Emancipation of the Untouchables by Babasaheb Ambedkar. Chapter 9, Caste and Constitution. It might well be asked, why should such questions as are raised by these demands of the untouchables find a place in the Constitution? Nowhere in the world have the makers of Constitution been compelled to deal with such matters. This is an important question, and I admit that an answer is required on the part of those who raise such questions and insist that they are of constitutional importance. The answer to this question is, to my mind, quite obvious. It is the character of the Indian society which invests in this question with constitutional importance. It is the caste system and the religious system of the Hindus which is solely responsible for this. This short statement may not suffice to give an adequate explanation to foreigners of the social and political repercussions of the Hindu caste and religious systems. But it is equally true that in the brief compass of this paper, it is impossible to deal exhaustively with the repercussion of the caste system on the Constitution. I would refer for a full and complete exposition of the subject to my book on the annihilation of castes, which I wrote some time ago, for I believe it will shed sufficient light on the social and economical ramification of the caste and religious system of the Hindus. In this paper, I will content myself with making the following general observations. In framing a constitution, the social structure must always be kept in mind. The political structure must be related to the social structure. The operation of the social forces is not confined to the social field, they pervade the political field also. This is the viewpoint of the untouchables, and I am sure this is incontrovertible. The Hindus are quite conscious of this argument and also of its strength. Well, what they do is to deny that the structure of the Hindu society is in any way different from the structure of European society. They attempt to meet the argument by saying that there is no difference between the caste system of the Hindus and the class system in Western society. This is, of course, palpably false and discloses a gross ignorance of both the caste system as well as the class system. The caste system is a system which is infested with the spirit of isolation, and in fact it makes isolation of one caste from another a matter of virtue. There is isolation in the class system, but it does not make isolation a virtue, nor does it prohibit social intercourse. The class system is true produces groups, but they are not akin to caste groups. The groups in the class system are only non-social, while the castes in the caste system are in their mutual relations definitely and positively anti-social. If this analysis is true, then there can be no denying the fact that the social structure of the Hindu society is different, and consequently its political structure must be different. What the untouchables are asking, to put it in general terms, is a proper correlation of means to end. End may be the same, but because the end is the same, it does not follow that the means must also be the same. Indeed, ends may remain the same, and yet means must vary according to time and circumstances. Those who are true to their ends must admit this fact and must agree to adopt different means if they wish that the end they have in view is not stultified. In this connection, there is another thing which I would like to mention. As I have said, it is the caste basis of Hindu society which requires that its political structure should be different and suited to its social structure. There are people who admit this but argue that caste can be abolished from Hindu society. I deny that. Those who advocate such a view think that caste is an institution like a club or a municipality or a county council. This is a gross error. Caste is religion, and religion is anything but an institution. It may be institutionalized, but it is not the same as the institution in which it is embedded. Religion is an influence or force suffused through the life of each individual, molding his character, determining his actions and reactions, his likes and dislikes. These likes and dislikes, actions and reactions are not institutions which can be lopped off. They are forces and influences which can be dealt with by controlling them or counteracting them. If the social forces are to be prevented from contaminating politics and perverting it to the aggrandizement of the few and the degradation of the many, then it follows that the political structure must be so framed that it will contain mechanisms which will bottle the prejudices and nullify the injustice which the social forces are likely to cause if they were let loose. So far, I have explained in a general way why the peculiar social structure of the Hindu society calls for a peculiar political structure, and why the maker of the Indian constitution cannot escape problems which did not plague the makers of constitutions in other countries. Let me now take the specific question, namely, why is it necessary that in the Indian constitution the communal scheme must find its place, and why in the public services for the untouchables should be specified and should be assigned to them as their separate possession. The justification for these demands is easy and obvious. It arises from the undeniable fact that what divides the Hindus and the untouchables is not mere matter of difference on non-essentials. It is a case of fundamental antagonism and antipathy. No evidence of this antipathy and antagonism is necessary. The system of untouchability is enough evidence of the inherent antagonism between the Hindus and the untouchables. Given this antagonism, it is simply impossible to ask the untouchables to depend upon and trust the Hindus to do them justice when the Hindu gets their freedom and independence from the British. Who can say that the untouchable is not right in saying that he will not trust the Hindu? The Hindu is as alien to him as a European is, and what is worse, the European alien is neutral, but the Hindu is most shamefully partial to his own class and antagonistic to the untouchables. There can be no doubt that the Hindus have all these ages despised, disregarded, and disowned the untouchables as belonging to a different and contemptible strata of society, if not to a different race. But by their own code of conduct, the Hindus behave as the most exclusive caste, steeped in their own prejudices and never sharing the aspirations of the untouchables, with whom they have nothing to do and whose interests are opposed to theirs. Why should the untouchables entrust their fate to such people? How could the untouchables be legitimately asked to have their interest in the hands of people who, as a matter of fact, are opposed to them in their motives and interests, who do not sympathize with the living forces operating among the untouchables, who are themselves not charged with their wants, cravings, and desires, who are inimical to their aspirations, who, in all certainty, will deny justice to them and to discriminate them against, and who, by reason of this sanction of their religion, have not been and will not be ashamed to practice against the untouchables any kind of inhumanity. The only safety against such people is to have the political rights which the untouchables claim as safeguards against the tyranny of the Hindu majority defined in the constitution. Are the untouchables extravagant in demanding this safety? The end.